When you picture the most breathtaking sight in our solar system, one image immediately comes to mind: Saturn, crowned by its magnificent glowing halo. For centuries, humanity has gazed up at this jewel of the cosmos, believing those dazzling rings were a permanent fixture of the night sky. But what if everything we thought we knew was about to change? Astronomers have uncovered a dark, staggering truth. Saturn's iconic rings are not eternal. They are actively dying, being devoured by the planet itself. And NASA has just delivered a chilling timeline for their complete and total erasure. For generations, our solar system has kept its secrets hidden in the freezing void. We once believed that Saturn was born with its rings, forged at the dawn of our cosmic neighborhood 4.5 billion years ago. We imagined them as ancient, unchanging, and as enduring as the massive gas giant they encircle. They have always been a defining feature of our local galactic geography. However, a monumental shift has recently shattered this comforting illusion. The truth is far more violent. Our solar system's most photogenic accessory is caught in a relentless, unstoppable death spiral. This chilling revelation did not come easily. It took the unparalleled technology of NASA's legendary Cassini spacecraft to uncover the dark secret. During the final daring orbits, Cassini was programmed to plunge directly into the unexplored gap between Saturn's cloud tops and its innermost rings. What the spacecraft transmitted back to control rooms on Earth left astrophysicists absolutely speechless. It detected an immense, previously invisible downpour. A deluge of microscopic ice particles, drawn out from the rings, was raining down upon the atmosphere at a highly destructive rate. We are not talking about a gentle cosmic drizzle. We are witnessing a torrential, catastrophic downpour of ice, rock, and cosmic dust. Every single second, an estimated 10,000 kilograms of vital ring material is being relentlessly dragged out of orbit. Saturn's immense gravitational pull, combined with its powerful magnetic field, is ripping the rings apart piece by piece. This phenomenon, ominously dubbed ring rain, is bleeding the rings dry at an unprecedented pace. To put this volume into perspective, this magnetic downpour is heavy enough to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool every half hour. The rings are essentially evaporating, sucked into the swirling clouds of the gas giant, never to return. So, how much time does the jewel of the solar system have left before it is stripped completely bare? For years, the timeline remained a terrifying mystery, a ticking clock with an unknown countdown. But recent analysis of Cassini's final data transmission has allowed NASA to finally put a date on the demise of the rings. The countdown has officially begun. For decades, scientists debated the true nature and lifespan of Saturn's spectacular halo. The turning point in solving this cosmic mystery came from NASA's Cassini spacecraft. During its daring grand finale in 2017, Cassini completed 22 plunging orbits. It threaded the perilous gap between Saturn's cloud tops and its innermost D-ring. What the spacecraft detected there was staggering. It revealed that an enormous amount of material is actively flowing from the rings directly into the gas giant at a rate of many tons every single second. This phenomenon, ominously termed ring rain, is the primary culprit behind the rings' impending demise. Saturn's rings are predominantly composed of water ice chunks, ranging from microscopic dust grains to massive boulders. Ordinarily, these particles are locked in a delicate gravitational balancing act. However, tiny ice particles frequently become electrically charged by ultraviolet light from the sun, or by plasma clouds. Generated from micrometeoroid bombardments, Once charged, these particles fall under the powerful influence of Saturn's magnetic field. This invisible magnetic pull overcomes their orbital velocity, dragging the icy dust along the magnetic field lines and violently dumping it into Saturn's upper atmosphere. The sheer volume of this cosmic downpour is difficult to comprehend. According to James O'Donoghue and researchers at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, this magnetic ring rain drains enough water to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool every half an hour. If we calculate based on this rain alone, the entire system would be eradicated in 300 million years. But the situation is actually far more dire. When scientists combine this with Cassini's measurements of material falling directly onto Saturn's equator, the timeline drastically shortened. The new worst-case scenario dictates that these iconic rings have less than 100 million years left to live. This revelation forces us to completely rethink the history of our solar system. For a long time, it was assumed that the rings formed 4.5 billion years ago, right alongside Saturn itself. But Cassini's precise measurements of the ring's mass, combined with calculations of dark interplanetary dust, tell a remarkably different story. The rings are relatively fresh and clean. In fact, they are unlikely to be older than 100 million years. To put that into perspective, if ancient dinosaurs possessed telescopes, they might have looked up at a completely bare Saturn, devoid of its majestic crown. It appears that our magnificent gas giant did not acquire its halo until relatively recently in astronomical terms, perhaps born from the violent collision of small icy moons whose orbits were destabilized. We are exceptionally lucky to be alive during this brief, fleeting window of cosmic history to witness them at all. But what will happen as the final remnants of the rings rain down, and how are other forces at play?
As the Cassini spacecraft made its final daring plunges between Saturn and its innermost rings during its grand finale in 2017, it unlocked the ultimate countdown. The measurements transmitted back to Earth were both spectacular and devastating. Scientists calculated that the relentless ring rain is draining enough water products from the rings to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool every single half hour. If this magnetic downpour were the only destructive force at play, the entire ring system would completely evaporate in about 300 million years. However, the reality is far more alarming. Cassini also detected an enormous amount of ring material falling directly onto Saturn's equator. When you combine this equatorial infall with the ongoing magnetic ring rain, the lifespan of this majestic halo drops dramatically. NASA's worst-case scenario predicts that the rings have less than 100 million years left to live. In the grand timeline of our solar system, which is over 4 billion years old, 100 million years is practically the blink of an eye. The first subtle clues of this demise actually appeared decades ago. In 1981, NASA's Voyager 2 mission captured peculiar narrow dark bands circling Saturn's northern mid-latitudes. Years later, scientists realized these dark bands were the entry points where electrically charged ice from the rings was washing away Saturn's stratospheric haze. The rain was literally cleaning the planet's upper atmosphere, leaving dark scars visible in the reflected sunlight. Furthermore, scientists recently discovered that Saturn's geologically active moon, Enceladus, is shooting massive geysers of water into space. This adds to the precipitation raining down on the gas giant's southern hemisphere. Both the rings and the planet's own moons are actively bleeding material into Saturn's swirling clouds. But this dramatic death march might not even happen at a steady pace. Saturn takes roughly 29 Earth years to complete a single orbit around the Sun. As the planet moves through its long cosmic seasons, its rings are exposed to the Sun at varying angles. It is the Sun's ultraviolet light that initially charges the microscopic ice grains. This allows Saturn's overarching magnetic field to grip them and drag them downwards. Because of this changing solar exposure, the volume of the destructive ring rain will likely fluctuate wildly over time. So what will our cosmic neighborhood look like when the dust finally settles? The innermost rings will vanish first as they rain down onto the planet, slowly followed by the outer rings. Fast forward a few 100 million years, and the crown jewel of our solar system will be completely unrecognizable. Saturn will likely be left with a sparse, dark, and almost invisible band of debris. It will look eerily similar to the faint skeletal rings we currently see around Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune. We often think of the cosmos as static and eternal, but this discovery proves just how dynamic and violent our universe truly is. The rings of Saturn are not a permanent monument. They are a fleeting, temporary masterpiece. We just happen to be incredibly fortunate to be alive during this brief, magical window of cosmic history to witness them in all their glory.